Come on, Steve, mate, keep up.
But to do that, we're having to go to a top-secret location.
Come on, Steve, hurry up.
What do you mean, hurry up?
Oh, man.
Every single time, look.
You're so melodramatic.
His hand.
Do you know what? I even took an extra bucket this time.
Let's face facts. MudMen is a worldwide hit with an unprecedented amount of adoring fans. Steve's fame has skyrocketed. Last week, he launched his own perfume called Mud Love for Men. But this celebrity has come at a high price. Steve has a stalker.
What's happening on the old stalker front, on these letters you get?
The letters stopped for a while.
Did they?
Yeah, and I thought it's all over. You know, he's got bored with me.
Or she.
Or she.
Yeah.
I was in the bath, and then I hear Morse code.
Your missus trying to get out of the cupboard. Was it?
No, we're not this time.
So a guy's now sending you obscene messages in Morse code.
Through me bath pipes.
That is mad. I'm going to get Michael anyway, because it's a bit of a schlep.
How long are you going to be?
Well, I've got to find him first. It's getting harder.
I need to bring the British Museum's Dr. Michael Lewis to our top-secret location. He's the deputy head of the Portable Antiquities Scheme, and he needs to record our finds. But what he doesn't know is that he's about to do that now.
Wait. It's finds time, Mikey.
Where'd you come from?
Quiet, baby. Just keep going, keep going.
Okay.
I told you it wasn't going to be easy. You all right, Steve?
Hey!
Easy, baby.
Dr. Michael, how are you? Good?
Got him here safely. Although our journey wasn't without a mishap.
You didn't see anybody on the way, did you?
I don't know, but let's just crack on with this now. I don't want to frighten you.
So, Michael, this is our Tower Hamlets table.
Oh, right. I wonder where we were this week.
What do you reckon?
Wow, it's an interesting array of objects,
Let
isn't
him have
it?
a good look.
This coin, I think, is interesting because it's so worn, but I think it's just a 1 penny piece. I think it says actually 1916. So it would have been like this one, but it's just kind of worn back. And maybe it's a halfpenny, but it's really worn down, isn't it?
I've got an idea on this. Do you know why it's that shape?
No, I don't.
Because when you go near to Cannon Street, you get a lot of these.
Right.
And I reckon that the kids at Cannon Street used to put those on top of the rails, train goes over them, and it squashes them like that.
But why would they do that?
You see, this is why I think you're wrong. Because at a time when this penny was in circulation, yeah, this would have bought you, it's what, George V, right? George V, so you're looking at the 20s. That would have bought you a lot of sweeties, cigarettes, a lot of anything. That was a big amount of money. But they're not going, no, here, ginger, let's not go and buy some... Yeah, ginger, let's not go and buy some sweets. Let's go and put them on a Trex and make them a funny shape. That would be much better than going to have a load of sweets.
Sorry about that, Michael. I didn't understand a word he was saying. But honestly, yeah, down at Cannon Street, you find a lot of these underneath the bridge,
Right.
and it's where kids used to squash
It's
them.
not where kids used to squash them, Steve. They wouldn't have done it. Sorry.
Talking of railways, we've got a button here of St Pancras Station on it. It's kind of really interesting find. I mean, St Pancras Station was built by the Midlands Train Company, and the Midlands Train Company didn't have a line into London, so they built St Pancras Station so they could bring their trains in there. In the 1960s, they were going to demolish it. There was a big petition to try and stop that happening.
Yeah.
And actually, the man who led the petition against the demolition of St Pancras was Sir John Betjeman. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? And also, there's the remnants of a GWR button. The crown has gone missing at the top, but you can see GWR, Great Western Railway, sometimes called God's Wonderful Railway. And of course, that's famous for Brunel building that line. So I really think it'd be good to look at the railways and how they helped Britain grow.
That sounds really good.
I love the railways.
So do I.
Right, Michael, off you go, matey.
Good to see you. So how do I get back?
Well, if you go up there, yeah,
Right.
just shin over that wall, yeah, go through the garden, you see quite a small blue door, there's a cat flap. You go through there, literally kick and crawl through the house, kick down the front door, down the path, there's a post box, yeah, wait by that, there's going to be a guy called Dean in a red Sierra. He's your minicab driver, I booked him for you.
OK. Can't I just get that bus, though?
Yeah, go on.
OK, right, great.
See ya.
See ya.
I lied about the cab anyway. Railways, yes.
Coming up, it's full steam ahead for the MudMen.
Oh, do you know what? This is absolutely brilliant, Bob. It's one of the most exciting things I've ever done.
adventures on the foreshore of the River Thames in Tower Hamlets, East London, turned up lots of train-related finds.
It's a railway button, and it says, can you see that? Midland Railway Company.
We're now steaming ahead to track down the evolution of Britain's railways.
You all right, Steve?
Ronnie, how you going? Not too bad.
What are you looking for?
We're on a mission to find out about the evolution of railways.
Yeah.
I thought I'd start by train spotting. But I tell you, it's really slack.
Well, you're not going to spot any here, Steve.
I've been here since 5, something should have gone through.
No, this is the Buckinghamshire Railway Centre. There's no trains come through here. It's a few enthusiasts at weekends. I mean, it's a museum.
I've been here since 5.
This is 5 this morning, waiting for a train.
They were doing the
That's 8
evolution.
hours, Steve.
I know. So, tell me about it.
Well, I am telling you about it. Listen, Steve, listen. No, what you are going to do, though, you're going to go off and you're going to go and chat to the guy and get the train ready that we're going to ride this afternoon. We're going to drive a train this afternoon.
What, a steam train?
Yeah, steam train, yeah.
Hey,
You're going to get to
hey.
get it all ready and get all involved.
Oh, tight, when you say get involved, yeah, that means that if you're going to not get involved on this, that means it's going to be a dirty job.
Do you know what? It's not a dirty job. It's just how it divided up. I swear to you, it's not a dirty job. It's just that you were going to talk to the guy about the train. I'm going to talk about the evolution of the steam engine, how it transformed Britain. Did you know when Victoria came to the throne, there was 100 miles of track here. By the end, 22,000 miles. That's the sort of fact I'm going to be wearing the punters with. Let's get into position.
Are you sure this is not
Yeah,
dirty?
it's not a dirty job, Steve.
You always say that, and it always is.
It's not going to be.
The growth of the railways was one of the most dramatic developments in the 19th century. It transformed industry and society and was critical to the Industrial Revolution. Without the railways, Britain would not have become the workshop of the world. So I'm going to meet Bob Randall, who knows all about the workings of the railway.
Oh, I'll be up there. Oh, hello, Steve. How you going, matey?
Good morning. Welcome. Quite nice to see you.
Look at that. That is definitely a Thames hand.
That's clean.
Now, she is a beauty, yeah? What's her name?
Coventry.
Yeah, and what age is she?
She's 1939 built, and this engine here is really the result of about 150 years of development. And this is a very ordinary engine. This was built for a colliery just hauling coal trucks.
What kind of torque and power have we got on this? What could this pull along?
This could easily shift 100 tons of coal wagons.
And in the 1800s, what are they going to be pulling?
Probably about 20 or 30 tons would be a good load for them,
Yeah.
because the engines were so tiny and by our standards very underpowered.
So, going into the cabin here, or what's the proper name for this?
The footplate.
Right, so going into the footplate, there's going to be you and me.
Yeah.
So you're classed as the driver.
Yes, and you'll be my fireman.
I'm going to be the fireman.
Yeah.
Would there have been anyone else up there with us?
Not necessarily, no.
So
no,
my-
normally only 2. And in fact, very often, they would work these engines with only 1 man. So to get this engine ready to run, I've got some really dirty jobs for you. So you better come this way, I'll get some kit for you.
Cheers, Bob. Sounds really good.
And Vaughan said it wasn't going to be a dirty job. But I'd do anything in the name of history. And before a steam train was allowed onto the line, the crew had to carry out a large number of safety checks and tasks. This included emptying the ash from the smoke box so the train was ready for its next journey.
This is a terrible job. It's really dirty work. Also, it's really hot and greasy underneath there as well.
Yeah.
I think that's clean enough, yeah? Is it possible that Vaughan and I could have a go at driving it?
Yes, we've done a good job. Let's get this engine going.
Top man, come on then.
Right, away we go.
I tell you, it's so cramped.
As Steve does a sterling job prepping the engine for us to drive, I'm meeting railway historian David Nash.
Nice to meet you, David. Where do the railways rank in terms of how an innovation has changed Britain?
Well, it enabled goods to be moved fast, it enabled people to create new lifestyles in leisure, it also enabled people to commute to work. So in that respect, it changed the way we live.
What about in terms of wealth, how much we're worth?
Well, it almost certainly kick-started a number of industries. So you can move the standard things around like coal and textiles and iron ore. But one of the things that railways really invent is the idea of the excursion. potentially the idea of the mass holiday. Thomas Cook, the great travel firm, actually started as a result of that individual, Thomas Cook, hiring a train to take people from Leicester to Loughborough for a temperance society meeting.
You're kidding me?
Was no,
that the first holiday?
That's the first travel excursion.
Okay, so the first excursion was to take people from Leicester to Loughborough to not drink.
Exactly. Which is a far cry from what
Club
Thomas Cook does.
1830, yeah, right, yeah.
Indeed. So, in terms of opening up opportunities, the railway was unparalleled.
What was the reaction then to trains when they first arrived? Because I know there was a few tragedies in the early kind of experimental runs.
Well, people didn't realise how dangerous they were as they were inventing them, putting them on tracks and seeing if they could go. When the initial trains were tried out, one government minister was actually run over by a train, William Huskisson, largely because he couldn't estimate how fast he couldn't judge it because he had no experience of doing so.
That's really inept.
You do get accounts of people who actually see a train coming past for the first time and they are just absolutely flabbergasted and can't believe it. Well, they're more in shock than anything because it's also an inanimate object moving at that speed, which they would have been brought up to believe was impossible.
And lastly, did they run on time?
Well, they actually bring the regularisation of time to Britain.
What do you mean by that?
Century. Well, before this date, of about 1850, the time in Britain was roughly stretched over about 10 to 15 minutes because the curvature of the Earth means that the sun sets slightly later the further west you are.
So you had different time zones within Britain?
Not quite zones, but certainly there was not a regular time. If you asked someone the time, they could only give it to you within a rough corridor. And what regularises that is the railways.
Okay.
Because in order for timetables to work, everyone has to know what the time is. And this is something that's very important in 19th century life, the sudden arrival of time as something that governs your day. Previously, it was tasks.
Yeah.
And the railway is what makes Greenwich Mean Time be adopted in Britain.
Okay.
And it was, at the time, actually called railway time.
It was called railway time when it first happened. I would say that in bringing standard time throughout Britain, that's got to be the biggest change trains have brought about, the most permanent impact
I think
they've
that's
had on Britain.
probably right.
Okay, well listen, absolutely lovely to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Pleasure, thank you.
Cheers. Take care.
What's that gauge in there for, Bob?
Oh, that's telling us the water level in the boiler.
Yeah?
Most important.
All right, there. Hello there. Sorry to interrupt. I'm Johnny.
Oh, hello, Johnny.
Hey, do you like my nice clean overall, Steve? Because yours appear to be a bit dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what to do.
Why?
Because I had to do a dirty job. You
Oh,
said it
not
wouldn't be
another
a
dirty job, and they promised me. Do you know what? I've got obviously a clean overall. Steve is filthy. You're the driver. If we're to get aboard, what sort of job could I have? Somewhere between, obviously, the lowliest, the fireman, and you.
Well, there really isn't anywhere.
Well, come on, find me. Basically, I want to be able to pull. I want to pull the whistle.
Oh, well, you can do that. I'll have to stand closely behind you.
That's all right, Bob. You look trustworthy. Should we all aboard it?
Yes, okay. Let's go.
All aboard!
Right, here we go.
I'll make that part of my weird job as well. All aboard! All aboard!
So, Bob, what have we got to do?
Right, can you get the handbrake off?
Yeah, what, just keep turning it?
Yeah, that way round.
Oh, that's off. That's off. How much pressure do we need to get going?
£150.
150.
Ready to go.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Let's go! We're moving.
We're off. Oh, this is so exciting, man.
The technological development of the steam train transformed Victorian society.
Yeah, man. Steam's where's that?
The engine works so simply. You turn the water in the boiler into steam by burning the coal, and then the pressure of the expanding steam drives a piston and the mechanical work is done, thus propelling the train.
Oh, look, we've gone under 150. Have I got to stoke it?
Stoke it, Steve. Stoke it. Yeah, for God's sake, Steve. What's my shoes? Keep going, Steve. I want it like...
This is hot.
Come on, Steve. I want it like Dante's Inferno down there.
What's wrong with you, Steve?
I want it to represent the fires of hell.
For over 100 years, steam had its golden age in Britain, and the creation of the railways included some of the world's great engineering triumphs, from the sweeping curves of Brunel's Great Western Line to the majesty of the Forth Rail Bridge.
Oh, do you know what? This is absolutely brilliant, Bob. It's one of the most exciting things I've ever done. It's so exciting. It's just brilliant. MudMen! Bye.